Hello and welcome to Arn, exclusively on the Four Horsemen Network. This is Paul Bromwell, and today I'm joined by the Hall of Famer, the founder of the Four Horsemen, the creator, the Spine Buster. He's the 1A at Tag Team Wrestling, our television champion. He's the enforcer. He's Double A. He's Arn Anderson. Arn, how are you this week, my friend?
Probably not as good as you, Mr. Vegas.
Oh, man, I tell you what, though. After 7-8 days, was it, out in Vegas? It is good to be home, my friend. I got home late last night and getting back normal time on the East Coast time. But I had a good time out there. A lot of good food, saw a lot of good people, and I got to watch some wrestling too.
Well, good. I've never stayed that long. That's
You
got
don't
to
want
be
to.
too much of a good thing is too much of a good thing, I think.
Well, the first few days were work related. So that was good. It kept me, focused on some stuff that I had to get done for work. And then it was a little bit of fun time and good food, great steak places, Arn, some places that I know would have really enjoyed having a good meal at.
Who picked up the tab?
I picked up the tab.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Don't ever pay for that.
It was a horseman size tab, I think, for the people that went, buddy.
You don't want to be famous for that. That's for sure.
Listen, for all those of you watching this, check out, if you're in Vegas, Poppy's Steaks. PAPI, Poppy Steaks. There's one in Miami, and now there's one in Vegas. And you talk about dinner and a show. They put on a show for you. They have what's called the beef case, where they bring out that $1,000 steak, Arn. It's a tomahawk in a gold briefcase. I'm telling you, it's Horseman style, and they make a party out of it. They bring it out, dancing, singing. They open that briefcase up, and they show it to you. Smoke comes out, and then they go prepare it for you. But it's an event that's it's pretty special. It's pretty spectacular.
There was a time, 86, 87, that I thought I was a big shot. The big deal was going to be the next Led Zeppelin. You know what I mean?
I do.
I would have never considered $1,000 steak.
It's incredible. Unbelievable. Listen, I did not get it. My table didn't get it, but there were 3 tables while we were there that went ahead and took care and participated in that gimmick.
A beautiful steak can only be so good. I mean, it can only get really, if it's prepared properly, ribeyes, my favorite.
Okay.
A big thick one, bone in, just seems to add some flavor to it. But $1,000,
I'm a filet mignon kind of guy. I like it medium rare, but listen, you can't go wrong with a ribeye either. Any of them. I'm a meat eater.
Why didn't you just stagger over to the table and like snag a bite off the plate like you were delirious or something? You couldn't help yourself.
Maybe the next time I do it, if there is a next time. It was a nice event that I was there for, kind of a work sponsor type thing, and it was special. But I'm telling you what, it was, for those of you listening to my voice right now, if you haven't been to that establishment, again, there's only 2 of them, Poppy's Steakhouse, and you're in Vegas or Miami, it's worth the price of admission. Not the $1,000 steak. You can get other stuff, but it's a good time. That's a
hell of a plug. That's a hell of an endorsement.
There you go. Arn, I want to talk about Mocksville, North Carolina, because another successful win for the Andersons out there, wasn't it?
Yeah, buddy. And there's some attitude also plugged in. The Andersons today are representing a lineage that's second to none. And for the first time, I saw CW and Brock turn up the jets and put some attitude in what was going on. And it made a huge difference in the people that were there. You could just tell, hadn't seen aggressiveness like that in quite a while. So you're going to be seeing some more torque out of the Andersons.
The Andersons always had an edge, so I like it. I like this next generation of Andersons coming in there with a little bit of spitfire.
Yeah, buddy. Yes, sir. And AML is a great promotion. We appreciate them giving us the opportunity, and we will continue to work with those guys and make their product as good as we possibly can, as well as making the Andersons relevant again.
I love it. Well, before we get into we have an announcement here we're going to get to in a minute, but I want to mention a few places where you can check out Arn and Brock and the Andersons. So I know this coming Saturday, June 1st, Saturday, you're pulling two big events. You start off Saturday in Pikeville, Kentucky. You're signing there. You will have comic book in hand.
Yes.
Will you not for that event? Talk about Pikeville, Kentucky. Tell them, Arn.
Well, I haven't been there, I don't think, since I worked for Jim Cornette.
Whew.
And if I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, that's where the famous Arn Under the Sheet spot, which they unveiled. And we had a 6-man. I was partners with the Rock and Roll Express. So that's one of those things that I think that's the place. But I do remember for sure Pikeville, Kentucky is a huge wrestling town. They love their wrestling there and don't get it probably nearly enough. So we're going to be there early in the morning. We'll get started probably 9 or 10ish, and we will try to shake as many hands and hug as many babies and necks and all the stuff we can possibly do to make those folks feel special, because they are special, just like wrestling fans all over the world.
I want to talk to you about somebody that's special and really talk about the next event you're going to later that night, Bash in Beckley. It's Bash in Beckley 4, and it's Saturday later on in the day. You and Brock will head up that way. And Arn, a gentleman by the name of Ashley Hutchins, he's going to be there. He cannot wait to meet you. And I know, and I wanted to share with you here, his wife passed away not too long ago. And he's DMing about it quite a bit. And he said, your words have really helped him. He said he cannot wait to shake your hand, buddy. And like so many fans, you've made a huge impression on him. And he's going to be meeting you this Saturday in Beckley. So shout out to you, Ashley. And we're just so sorry for your loss. But Arn, he can't wait to see you.
Yes, sir. I wish I had something to say that would help. But I look forward to seeing you. And thank you very, very, very much for being a wrestling fan. And if we can give you any comfort, we will certainly do our dead level best, buddy. I'm so sorry for your loss.
He's a great friend, great fan of the show. And so, Ashley, I'm looking forward to you meeting Arn. I know it's a huge item on your bucket list. You said you cannot wait to meet the Enforcer. So it's going to be a great event in Beckley. Check it out, bashinbeckley.com if you're interested, and you can find out more. And then, Arn, last plug here. It's June the 30th. You talked about AML. Winston-Salem, the home of WrestleCade, by the way, the Benton Convention Center. The meet and greet start at 2. The first match is at 4, and you guys are all headed there, Winston-Salem, at the end of June. It's going to be a big-time event.
Another great wrestling town. Unbelievable. Yep. So right up the road, very close, great fans. Can't wait to do that as well.
Now, guys, before we get into Ask Arn Anything, and I want to say, please use the super chat function. It helps Arn and I out quite a bit, and we appreciate all the love and want to get to as many questions as we can here tonight for you.
Let me say one thing.
Arn, go ahead.
I don't know if we covered it, but the meet and greet in Beckley will start 4:00. Now, I looked online, and there was an updated version that says 4, but originally it said 5. So don't get caught with your pants down. And just a little word of the wise for the folks. If they've moved it down to 4, it means they're planning on having a huge crowd, and to get everybody just taken care of, everything signed, everything we could possibly do to give back, get there early. Not 5, 4:00.
There you go. No, good stuff. I'm glad you shared that for sure. Arn, before we get into the questions, I see super chat coming in. You guys, we're coming to you first with your questions. Thank you so much. You have an announcement. Now, there's been questions that have been constantly asking on Ask Arn Almost Anything. And me and you've worked together, and you said, Paul, I'm not ready to talk about it yet. And when I'm ready, I'll talk about it. This is the time to talk about it. And so, Arn, go ahead. You wanted to update folks on your contract situation.
Well, I haven't been just blowing my horn or blowing anybody's horn or blowing this out of the water or trying to make a bigger deal out of it than what it is. But one thing people know, that I am very appreciative to have been in this business for 42 years. I have often said that this business does not owe me anything. I owe it everything. And here on the tail end of my career, I have been very fortunate to work for AEW and Tony Khan for the last 4 years, and I have been under contract. He is a great, great human being. He has taken the wrestling business and given it another option and another, whole different category of what professional wrestling is perceived to be or can be or will be or has been. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that worked there. They were all exceptionally great. Tony, we appreciate everything that you've done for the business. The limited time that I have left, I want to spend with Brock because I think Brock has aptitude and attitude, and I think he will be a player for somebody. And I just got to get him some experience, and that's where I'm going to devote my time. Is to helping develop Brock and teaching him. And if he comes along like I think and hope he will, it will be sooner than later. So I just wanted to say thank you to Tony. This coming, believe it or not, on Double Shot Day, 31st is the last day of my contract. And I just want to say thank you. I appreciate everything. And that goes to everybody that works there. All my friends, Tony Schiavone, JR, all those guys, all the talent, and Dean, obviously, Billy Gunn, all that crew, Jerry, everybody was great. So I just want to say thank you and see you down the road.
There you go. Yeah, a lot of speculation. I think a lot of folks thought automatically when Brock moved on that Arn, you moved on as well. That wasn't the case. As you said, contract wraps up the 31st this Friday, and June 1st, your full attention and focus is on Brock and Brock's career. And man, we're excited, Arn. It's so cool to see him in the ring, giving the boots to him and CW, and what you're able to help with in terms of just coaching your son and being there with him and watch his career develop. And then being here with all of us. So many of you are with us tonight, super chatting, throwing in questions, and you love connecting with the audience. And now you're going to be able to do that even a lot more and on the road and here on the Full Horseman Network. So Arn, on behalf of everyone, just want to say thank you so much. Yeah, Dominic D'Angelo, close friend, and we'll talk more about Dom here in the D'Angelo brothers, just said Arn is the best, the true blue learning tree. So there you go from
wow.
Dominic.
Thanks, Dom.
Yeah, love it so much. Guys, keep the questions coming in, but that's an official word from Arn. We haven't really spoken about that at all. I'm going to start with Eddie Prather. He says, hello, Arn and Paul. Arn, will there be a Patreon page for your network? Arn, is it okay if I take a shot at answering this one? Okay.
The information source is right there, shaking his head. Let him in, buddy.
Yeah, no. So what I would say, Eddie, is definitely no Patreon coming, but just keep an eye out in the next few days, maybe first week of June, for a big announcement, I would say, and just keep your eyes peeled. There's been some things that are being worked on, and so really excited about it, but no Patreon. That will not be the gimmick, if you will, but we're really excited to try to figure out how we can continue to give more back to the fans and do even more for all of you. So good question, Eddie. Wayne Moore, I see that you sent us some money, so really appreciate that. And I thought I saw a question as well, a follow-up. So I want to shuffle back through these questions. And then he said, would love to see the Andersons come to Phoenix and work with the AWF. So Arn, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the AWF out in Phoenix, but maybe a possibility down the road for you and the crew.
I have heard there's a promotion out there. I just wasn't familiar with it directly. So,
okay.
Hey, we're open to anything and everything. We will certainly take any propositions very seriously. Thank you.
There you go. Guys, keep the super chat coming. That's the ideal way to make sure we get your question in. Can't thank you all enough. With that, I'm just going to start at the top. And Eric Tate said, by the way, Mouthpiece Murphy, he's all excited. Paulie B and Papal time. It's what Mouthpiece Murphy said. He said, this is the best time. Arn, how do you feel about the name Papal?
Who's calling me Papal?
This guy by the name of Mouthpiece Murphy.
He's going to call me Papaw.
That's what he said.
Well, now Papaw is like a Southern term for grandfather. I
That's
think
right.
it's a
That's
term
right.
of endearment.
It
So,
is. It's a very.
if it is meant that way, I am
He's a
certainly.
very nice guy. I
I
will tell
can't
you that.
deny that I'm old, and
Yeah.
Papaw is a simile for old as hell. So I qualify.
Oh man, I love kicking it off that way. Eric Tate says, Arn, how come WCW never did DV tapings in Springfield, Missouri at the Shrine Mosque? They only did house shows there, never a TV taping. Eric's a little upset about that. You want to be on TV out there.
Yeah, and you got to remember that's a small town. The avenue to rent equipment and get all the stuff that you need to put a television show on the air. It would be, you wouldn't try to haul it. That's a long way from Atlanta, Georgia. And so you would try to rent stuff locally, and that's not a very big town. It's a small place without the college. It's really tiny. So I think it would be cost ineffective.
Gotcha.
Would be the answer.
Makes a lot of sense. We have some other friends of the show that are here. Allison Faye. She said, who else is ready for another great show? Allison, love you. So glad that you can be here. CG Artis, my buddy Charlie. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, Paul and Arn. Hope everyone is doing great and had a great Memorial Day weekend. Arn, I didn't even get to ask you, how was your Memorial Day weekend?
Quiet. Just kind of spent the day pondering and thinking about all the people that have sacrificed so you and I can sit here and yuck it up on this podcast.
Absolutely.
Men, women, God bless you all that have done everything you can possibly do to ensure our freedoms. And I think you got to include our police officers and our nurses and our doctors and everybody, because, buddy, everybody is fair game apparently in the real world. Some of the stuff that you see on the news, be it with people getting attacked in hospitals and churches and police officers getting, jumped and sitting in their police car. I mean, I don't know how you thank them enough. I don't know what you could say that would be enough. God bless you. Just know one thing, that in the Anderson household, you are all respected. You're all loved. You're all appreciated. And, very sorry for everyone that has had a loss. We've had 4 police officers go down here a while back, and it's just kind of dominated the mood of the city.
Yeah, it was. Well, I heard about it too, because the company I work for, one of her husbands was killed in that shooting. I don't think I ever told you that.
No, Jesus.
Yeah. So it's just sometimes it hits close to home, and it's like, man, what are we doing? But to your point, just so thankful for the people that put themselves in the line, to protect us and those first responders and stand in the gap for all of us and fight for the country. So Memorial Day, great day to recognize those for sure.
Yep. We just had a very quiet day here at home.
Okay. Did you have any picnic foods? I got to ask.
Nothing special. Don't.
Okay. All right.
No, it was, it's so damn hot outside.
It rained. Well, here I got home last night. It was off and on rain. So a lot of people around here had their picnics Saturday or Sunday. And there you go. A car salesman buddy of mine, he didn't even get to work. I mean, he didn't get off yesterday. He was selling cars and then, tossing salads last night. So there you go, Andrew. He said, welcome, everyone. Hope all of you have your questions ready for Double A. Charlie says, hey, Paul and Arn, great to see you. Hope you had an awesome weekend. Eddie Prather said he left his question on the Facebook page. So there we go. I'm just scrolling down here looking for questions. And I also see that we have Heather Whitley. Heather, it's great to have you with us, and little Patty as well. Daisy Mama says, rumors are Jerry Lawler left WWE. So what do you think of that? Yeah, I think his contract's over and he's going to be free to do whatever he would like at this point in life. Thoughts on Jerry Lawler, Arn?
Oh, he's great. He's phenomenal. Not only was he a tremendous talent as a wrestler for decades, very entertaining on the mic as far as being an announcer. I mean, he's a guy I would want on my team, that's for sure. If I was building a wrestling product, that guy can wear a lot of hats. I'm just glad he has fought back and
Sure.
overcome that illness that he had. That was pretty serious, I think.
Yeah.
What
No.
I've heard.
Yeah. It would be, and Daisy Mama went ahead and was like, man, could you imagine one more opportunity to hear JR and Jerry together? And JR has been under the weather lately. I don't know if you've been keeping up with him.
I have, and I haven't asked. I didn't want to pry if he wants to volunteer. What's going on? That's entirely up to him. But I did hear that he had to go back in the hospital, and that's never a good thing.
Yeah. No, not good. And then I texted with Kevin Sullivan, by the way. I don't know if you heard about Shorty hit by a car, ended up having some, yeah,
Hit
yeah,
by a car.
yeah. Had a little complications, but we've got a good report on him this weekend that he's recovering and doing better. So
I never heard that. I just
yeah.
heard that he had a blood clot or something in his leg.
Some kind of accident, and it was with.
Is he still in the hospital?
No, I believe that he's out. So
Yeah, I sent several messages by John Pods.
oh yeah,
you
John
know,
Paz, yeah.
who was his partner on his podcast, and he had minimal knowledge of what was going on. Just
Yeah, it was some, and again, if I'm wrong, guys, correct me in the group chat. But that's what I heard, and it was some kind of accident. But he's recovering now, and thoughts and prayers for as you call him, Shorty. And I texted him, and he said, "Hey, call me the next day," and I did. He didn't answer, so I'm going to continue to try to get a hold of our buddy. So there you go. We have another super chat here from Christopher 628. He says, "Hi, Paul and Arn. What were your thoughts on Rick Rude?" And I'll throw it right up here on the question. What were your thoughts on Rick Rude? Why was he not WWF champion? I felt he could have been a good one.
as far as the in-ring stuff, absolutely. One thing to always remember when you think about a talent and think how they would have fit as a champion, you got to include about 100 extra travel days than the average bear and the average talent, because you're flying in early, you're doing morning television, you're doing morning radio, you're having to do stuff, promoting shows when other people are off. There's a lot that goes into being the champion and representing the company. And I don't know if Rick would have signed up for that or would have wanted to have been on the road that much. It was hard enough as it was, the number of days that were out there, but you're virtually gone the whole year if you're the champion. Very few days off.
Sure.
And I know Rick, he liked his downtime. He liked his family time. Not sure that would have been the right spot. Could he have carried it bell to bell inside the ring? Oh, absolutely.
He absolutely could. And I'm going to transition it to another guy that I think, man, right now, a newer performer. You're very familiar with his daddy and uncle. We've talked about him before on this show. And then from John Falsetta, he says, "Arn, what do you think of Bron Breakker?"
He's a hoss, ain't he?
The guy moves like lightning from around the ring, and he's a torpedo with the way he moves, his muscles, muscle mass, everything. The guy, it just seems like he has it.
Well, he's got his dad's genetics, buddy. Rick Steiner and Scott Steiner were horses before it was popular, buddy. They were, I've told you, I mean, I saw Rick Steiner doing 365 seated behind the necks. For anybody that works out, if you know what I'm talking about, that's a lot of weight, free weight to be doing behind the neck presses. Brom is a guy with a bright future. Great size, great physique. He had a shot at being in the NFL, right? I think he might have just came up just a little bit short on that deal. But anybody that's even considered that gets a tryout, that gets the opportunity to play in the NFL is a horse. And I wish him a lot of luck. He's going to be a big star.
Yeah, he was a part of, he either drafted or signed free agent. I can't remember which, by the Ravens at one point. And but yeah, big time deal. Arn, we have we're hearing from Mouthpiece Murphy, and he sent in a super chat. I'm gonna put it on the screen. This is just for you. He said, and this was a little while ago. I wanted to say thank you for the marriage advice on my wedding day this weekend, Pat Paul. It put the biggest smile on my face. Nothing but respect.
What was the advice?
I'm assuming that at some point on one of the Ask shows, he asked for some type of marital advice, and you gave it.
I think it could have been this. If it not, it still applies and applies to you. Just remember these words, and it will save you every single time. Yes, ma'am.
That was worth the $5 right there. Those 2 words.
Talking to a guy that's been married 40 some years.
And there's a reason for that.
Right out. Yeah. Yes, ma'am works every single time.
Dallas Dalton says, Arn, at some point, there's a lot of folks that have had heat with Tully. All right, everybody. Was there ever a time in real life that you had to step in and maybe save Tully from somebody because he maybe got under the skin of another performer, another wrestler?
Well, it never got to that point of like an attack was imminent. He's just, to this day, he can walk in the room and you would look at him. I mean, he is a church-going guy. He has turned his life around. He's a completely different fella. But there's something about him that when he walks in the room, you just look at him and go to yourself, what a dick. And it just radiates from him. There's the way he, and I don't know that he does it on purpose or he's even aware of it, but he walks in the room.
That swagger.
And he will look you up and down and swagger. And like before he says a word, it's almost like he's giving you the up and down, the
once over. Oh yeah.
And it's just him. It is why he was so successful.
Yes. That's why he was a great heel.
He was one of the best because he's a dick in the ring, out of the ring, the whole thing. Very smart, credible worker, smart guy, a lot of assets, carried himself, when it was time with a lot of class, but he just had that thing.
He just had that. He just knew how to strut like a peacock, as one of my friends says. And there you go. That's why we loved him as a heel. I mean, he was just the greatest heel. So
not to change subjects, but I saw something that I do not want to miss for sure. On June the 14th, 15th, and 16th, I am going to be in Charlotte at a Comic-Con. Never done one.
16th in Charlotte.
It's a 3-day deal, and it's a big one, and it's at the convention center downtown. I have never done one in Charlotte. Can you believe that?
Buddy, this Super Summer Sizzler Anderson tour is for real. You guys are everywhere.
I mean, this don't ever happen to me. 3 days where I can actually work a full day and still be at home that night and sleep in my bed.
Yeah. Have Incredible. Your feet up on the old coffee table by 8 o'clock at night. You're good.
I'm very thankful to the folks running that show, and I just wanted to make sure we got as much promotion for it.
Did somebody just put a flashcard in front of you? How did you just catch that one?
Looking at my calendar.
Oh, okay.
And I just glanced up and I saw that, and I knew we gave AML a plug in Winston-Salem end of the month. Yeah. Somehow, in my old age, I just skipped over it. Charlotte.
We're gonna have to figure out like a calendar share program or something, because I try to catch as much as I can, and then you'll show up and you'll be like, "Oh no, I got this too on this weekend," and then we're going out to wherever.
I will do a better job of keeping you informed.
No, it's all good. I just want to make sure that we let the folks know everywhere they can find you and that comic book of yours. Have we talked about the comic book yet enough? Do you guys all have your comic books?
If the people that I see that are showing up with them, it's everything from a lady just at the show I was just at in Moxville. She just said, I'm going in the hospital for a couple of days. I'm going to take your book. I've read it once, but I'm going to go back and reread it. Give me something to do.
Good hospital reading is what
That's
we're learning.
other people say. I picked it up and I was planning on just reading some of it, and I ended up reading the whole thing.
Cover to cover.
Binge read it.
Right.
So
that means we need another volume. Arn Part 2.
well, let's just make sure everybody that wants part 1 gets it. My God, it was stuck floating in the ocean over by China for a couple months, or so they said.
Arn was ready to put a pair of swimmies on and go find it himself.
Yeah, let me swim out there and put that rope in my teeth and get this thing to shore, for God's sakes.
Oh man, that's so true.
Well, people ask me for decades, people would say, when you going to write another book? When you going to write another book? I bet you could have a hell of a book. And I finally decided, well, the time's right. Let's do that. And then to run into all that, all the snags with the nobody's fault, I guess, but it was just like, short on.
People are still blaming the pandemic, so we'll go with it. No, yeah. I'm kidding, but no, these things happen. There's shipping issues and fulfillment, and the guy's colored penciled ran out on page 15. No, I'm kidding, but no, there's a lot of things that happen when you're putting a comic book together that people don't even think about. And so there you go. Speaking of gear, the professor Drew Landry, always faithful to the show, said any chance we could get a 4 Horsemen lunchbox, like a metal lunchbox, 4 Horsemen. Now I have behind me, and you can't see because I have a blurred background, Arn. I have a couple classic metal lunchboxes. I have Knight Rider. You remember that show, Knight Rider?
Yes.
How about the A-Team? You remember that one?
Yes.
I have the original ones I found on with their thermoses. How cool it'd be to have a 4 Horsemen lunchbox with, like, you guys, your images on there, the logo. That would be a lot of fun. We got to find the manufacturer.
Well, Drew, right?
Yeah.
Drew, thank you for that. I hadn't thought about it. That goes back to the WWF marketing scheme days, but
Scheme Gene. Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen any of that kind of stuff lately.
Yeah, but metal lunchboxes, if you go to eBay and search like classic metal lunchbox, there is a collector's market. Dave Bautista, I don't know if you've ever seen, has one of the most impressive metal lunchbox collections that I've ever seen.
I have not.
It's very old school vintage, from Happy Days and all the old school shows, and really cool collection.
All right.
So we'll have to
look. So he's a child at heart.
That's right. That's right. And like, it's all about kind of like what we're doing here, going back in time and asking all the questions from our youth. Love the nostalgia feel of it. But Drew, great question. We'll continue to keep going here. Eddie Prather wants to see Brock in NXT. CGRT says, Arn, I think that it's awesome that you'll be working alongside your son, mentoring him in the Anderson way. So happy for you and your family. Love you, my friend. So very kind words.
Thank you.
From Charlie there. Graham Seidel says, ask Arn Paul, what's your favorite popcorn seasoning?
Gotta be butter.
Yeah, I mean, classic buttery popcorn.
Buttered popcorn. And I like the microwave too, hot.
Okay. So you throw that bag in the microwave, let it pop, and then will you throw more butter on top or a little or just butter flavored? Got it.
Listen, I've cut back on Hershey bars. I'm not going to dump the extra butter in there. I'm trying out there, folks. I am doing.
Oh, you're Slim Down Anderson over here.
Trying. It's a conscious effort because
I like it.
Not that I didn't love the Hershey bars, but I appreciate the compliance, and let's stay off of them for a while because I am weak. If I got it, if it's laying around, I'll eat it.
No, I know. I understand that. CB says, Arn, I hope Brock makes it to the WWE. From what I've seen, he has the talent to be a big star in the ring. CB believes, man. Big believer.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your support. I think, destiny will be whatever it's meant to be. It's one of those deals. If it's supposed to be, that's great. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let's just put it this way. The one advantage that we do have is we're not under a time frame.
Yeah.
He's 27 years old.
Right.
And
he's working the circuit, man, working it out on the indies. There's so much opportunity out there right now to kind of learn a skill and develop the skill.
Well, you learn from everybody that you
That's right.
work with wrestling. You learn something. Maybe it's what not to do. More times than not, it's what to do. And here's a different way of doing something. And that's why AML, and I can't thank those guys enough. It's North Carolina mostly. It's drivable, and we can jump in my truck and shoot up there and let him get a rep in and come back home that night. No holiday. There's no there's no travel as far as having to get on a plane and having to have hotel rooms and all that stuff. It's job up, job back. It's a great company to work for, and we're blessed in the fact that they want to use us. We're booked with those guys probably, once a month at least for the rest of the year. So thank you, Tracy Myers.
That's right.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
We got our next super chat question in, and we're going to throw it on the screen here. It's Reggie the Tree. He said, I'm from Raleigh, so that's Crockett territory. In your opinion, Arn, who was the better wrestler, Barry Windham or the late, great Bobby Eaton? Thanks, man. What a tough question.
Wow. God, I don't even know if that's answerable. They were both phenomenal in their own way because they're completely different. I would really have to, and it's such a great question. I'm going to have to flip a coin and rule it a toss up because they worked completely different. Barry was 6'6", 6'7", 240 pounds and worked like a guy Brad Armstrong size. Bobby Eaton was just flawless in everything he did. Period. There was nothing Bobby couldn't do. And then when you go back and you watch him drop a knee off the top or drop a leg off the top or any of that kind of stuff, you just go, good Lord.
So smooth.
Great question. I'm going to have
that Alabama Jam, Arn, and see, and you realize like nobody ever got hurt.
No, very, very, very safe. And for its time, it was spectacular. If you did it tomorrow, somebody did it. As long as they did it like Bobby did it, it's still spectacular. The bar does not have to continue to be raised, is what I'm saying.
Speaking of Bobby KF5 GTX, longtime friend of the show, says, Arn, what did you think of the post-match celebration for Cody's win at WrestleMania? Now, Arn, I don't know if you saw it or not, but the locker room of the baby faces came out, hugged and celebrated Cody. Cody had Bruce Pritchard, Triple H come out. Really, it was one of those celebrations, kind of like what we saw when Flair beat Harley for the title, or when Dusty won the title, kind of an old school celebration style. What did you see it, and what did you think?
I did not see it, but I saw clips of the aftermath.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was appreciated to that degree by his company. I mean, that's a guy that if you own a wrestling company, why wouldn't you want him a predominant player?
Sure.
With your company? He looks the part. He's a gentleman. He's a professional. He's a tremendous talent. He loves the business. He has a lineage second to none, with his brother and his father. I mean, all these positive things. And he's a guy that when you need a match, if you need 40 minutes tonight, no question. Cody, you got 40 minutes in you? Not a problem. Everybody can't do that and continue to keep the level that you need to for a 40, 45-minute match. They know what they got. They're glad to get him back, and you can tell that he's an all-around pro.
You know what I love about Cody is his genuineness. It radiates through how he just seems like such a genuine guy. It comes across through the screen, and then you see it on social media. You also see it from house show videos that get posted of his interaction with fans and kids and how he treats people in the arena that are coming as fans. To me, that almost trumps so many of the other things. It's like that is just, you just can't help but cheer for a good guy like that.
They should be very, very proud, and I'm sure they are to have him.
All right, Eddie Prather's back with a super chat. Eddie, we're going to throw you on screen here. Why didn't Brad Armstrong get a TV title run? And he's very specific in 1988.
Because when they handed Brad a mic, Brad came across as being his dad light. It was that Georgia man's man promo that Bob Armstrong cut. Brad, I think, maybe tried to be a little bit too much cut from the same cloth as his dad. And mic skills are very important, as you know. Certainly wasn't his work, that's for sure.
For sure, and it's always been a part of it, part of the business. Have to be good on the mic, and especially as you start thinking about the late 80s heading into the 90s, it was even more an important piece of it if you're going to be that standout wrestler carrying the title. And we'll continue to move on here because Allison Faye says, what is Arn's favorite pizza topping?
Sausage, onion, mushrooms. Little ground beef if they got it. Every place doesn't carry ground beef for some reason. Sausage, mushrooms, onions. Light on the sauce, thin crust.
But you're okay on the cheese because we know you're not a cheese lover.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to put whatever cheese they have to make a pizza a pizza. I don't think you could say leave
No
the cheese off the pizza. Well, we have a pile of something in laying here. I'm not sure what it is. Feels like something should bind it all together, but cheese.
I tell you what, all this talk of pizza, you and I, you're talking about slimming down and watching what you want to eat. She's going to get us all worked up, wanting to order some. Do you have a go-to pizza place around there?
Brooklyn Pizza. It's called the Misa Pizza.
See,
I think it's a Misa.
It's getting in your head, Arn. You're going to feel it about another half hour or so.
It's got the stuff that we talked about. Then it has ham, but we tell them to hold the ham.
Gotcha.
For some reason, it just don't fit.
I should have had dinner before this recording. Italian. I'm going to go here. Italian. Here we go. He said, spelled different than Italian, but he says, hello, Arn and Paul. I was wondering if Arn has heard the Usos imitation of him. The Usos do an imitation of you. Have you heard it?
I saw just a short clip of them backstage talking about something in the conversation we had, and I saw it. I don't know. Is that the way I sound? Have you seen it?
I'm going to have to look it up now. No.
Well, look it up and see what you think. Maybe we can't look at ourselves through the same lens that everybody else looks at us as.
I don't want to.
I know what? I love those guys.
Yeah.
All the Island Boys are awesome.
Yeah. The Usos. So I'm going to have to check that out. Bobby reminds everybody, smash the like button for Arn and Paulie B. Bobby, you're the man. If you could, smash the like button. Subscribe if you're not. I got Andrew telling me I'm going to pay for my shit talk. He's better than me at that. Well, hey, Andrew, anytime we can have some fun together. Eddie Prather says he's talking about Jerry. His health hasn't been the best. So we're going to continue. Brian Harems is here. Brian, I'm a little late, but wouldn't miss a new episode of Arn. Brian, we love you. Glad to have you. Yam Bag Jones is in the house. Yammer, he was making a nice meatloaf. It was wrapped in bacon. He was smoking it, and he put it on social media. He was getting this ready prior to jumping on to Ask Arn Live. He said, cheers, everybody. Happy to be with everyone for a few minutes here tonight. So it's always good to have him. But where are you at on some bacon-wrapped smoked meatloaf? Does that sound good to you?
Wow. That's I've never even heard of that, but I like bacon. Who doesn't like a BLT done properly, right?
Oh, I'm all in.
Crispy bacon, white bread, lightly toasted, fresh lettuce.
I love the way you described it.
And get you a firm tomato and let it sit in the refrigerator all night. So when you slice it the next day, it's crisp.
You should cut promos on food. That could be its own Instagram page. Cutting promos on how to build or food recipes.
I like to eat.
Oh, so good.
I really like to eat.
What about now we put a light layering of mayo on that toast?
Yes, both
Okay.
sides of the bread, and pepper it down.
Pepper it down. I am the 83. Our next super chat says, Arn, do you consider the Anderson boots the Jordans of the wrestling world? I love that.
I like the way you put that. Yeah, it's special. I mean, Ole and Gene had them before me. I had them. Now CW and Brock has them. I'm sure Bryant had a pair. You know, Bryant, Ole's son, was attempting to get in the business at one time. Not sure what happened there, but there's probably only 5-6 pair of Anderson boots in existence.
Wow. And
I mean, I still have my original ones. I would suggest that Ole kept his, maybe not. Maybe Bryant, his son, has them, but it's not an everyday thing, and it's not like you could show up on TV if you were not an Anderson with those boots on.
speaking of Ole's son, did you get to watch the Dark Side of the Ring episode, and did you get to hear him talk a little bit about that?
I thought he came across pretty damn good.
I completely agree. Knowledgeable.
Intelligent, articulate.
Yeah, very good. Was very impressed with him.
Yeah, those dark sides, man, they let me in on stuff if it's all accurate that I had no idea was going on at the time.
Sure.
And without social media and all that stuff and cell phones, guys, the business was, a different animal back, early 80s to mid 80s. Everybody didn't have a cell phone. That didn't exist. And there wasn't social media and all that, Twitter pages and all that stuff. So the knowledge just didn't get tossed around like it does now. It's
the level of detail. There wasn't Wikipedia and all this stuff. You just rode down the road in your car and ready for the next match, did your thing, grabbed your hot dogs at the place. And
it is amazing. And I gave them the family, we're making a trip somewhere. And I picked up this phone and I said, it blows my mind that I can take this phone, take it out of my lap, and go, how many times did Heath Slater get beat last year? And in 45 seconds, I've got an answer, which is the most profound question you could just about come up with. It's irrelevant. You know what I mean? Don't you find that amazing?
Oh, yeah.
It's all right here.
Buddy, I'm old enough. I remember when we were still pulling out the atlas and maps to try to figure out where to go.
Still got one.
And then it was MapQuest once I got my first Gateway computer. And now we're just, everything's on. This thing is this, like you said, the superhuman computer of all time. Takes your photos, gets you places, face-to-face talk with people live, whatever you want. Social media, some people love it, a lot of people hate it, whatever.
I prefer the map. I still prefer a map. But you know what? There's a problem. I don't know. I can't find the map that fits comfortably in your bag. It's the big one. Is all you can find. You can't find.
You're just unwrapping it forever.
I would like to have one smaller than this, but you know what the ones I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Fit in your briefcase comfortably.
Do you still carry a briefcase?
I do, but it's not a briefcase. It's one of those black bags, computer bags that roll.
Leather ones, yeah.
If you don't pile them full of junk, you can, on that back compartment, you can fit a change of clothes. If you just need
a few Hershey bars. Yeah.
Hershey bars hide in there really well.
Ingredients for a BLT.
Hey,
Robin,
cold waters you can stuff down in one of those compartments. 30 minutes later, you open it, it's still cold.
You know what I love about this show, and you referenced it. It was like, welcome to my living room, these episodes. And that's what it truly feels like. Just two guys sitting at a bar, sitting in the living room, just having a conversation. I love it. And I thank you all for being here for this.
Yeah, it's real life. It's what we really do to prepare to do our job. And, just the fact that all those years I had my work bag. We never had suitcases on wheels, which makes life very easy. Just put your briefcase on top and take off down the terminal. It was we all used, we thought we're hot shots. We had the Louis Vuitton bags and all that stuff, but they're a pain in the ass to haul around.
Halliburtons. Did you have a Halliburton?
Out of Halliburton, yeah.
Okay.
And the idea was for that, which you learn as you enter into the business and everybody in there's got a Halliburton, you indirectly kind of learn that it's just a way to take temptation out of other guys' hands. You go to the ring, if you got a bag, nobody's going to tiptoe bandit into your bag if it's a Halliburton that's locked. That was the whole reason for spending that much money on a suitcase.
Jeez. So that you go to the ring without getting robbed.
Yeah, you don't have to worry, because you don't know those people most times, especially when you just get to a territory. You have no idea who they are, what they've done, and same for you. So it just eliminates the temptation, or it used to. I don't think anybody has a Halliburton anymore.
Now, like you said, everybody, we got the wheels. I just thought about that. Traveling through an airport, you would just literally freestyle carry everything.
Throw that strap over your bag, and had your briefcase in the other hand, which was a Halliburton briefcase, mind you.
And your TV title in the Halliburton?
It was in the big Halliburton, yeah.
That red leather TV title or the black leather, whichever one you prefer. Just trying to paint the picture for everybody at home.
You're covering both bases. Yeah.
Oh, what a cool time. Oh, here we go. We got a couple super chats coming in here, so we're getting to these. Let's see here. We have, oh my goodness, we have a few. Tell Tully that Brian is not a snot-nosed punk kid. Okay, well, we'll let Tully.
I think Ole pointed that out to him real strong. Let me just put it to you. I think he slapped him in the head. Is that correct?
Yeah. Reggie the Trees Back says better wrestler, Manny Fernandez, the Raging Bull, or Buzz Sawyer.
Manny was very good. Very good. Probably more versatile than Buzz, but Buzz had some stuff that he did that was in first place for the business, did the best power slam in the business. Just wish he would have been a better person.
I enjoyed when Manny Fernandez, Magnum TA, and Dusty were kind of all three together against the Horsemen. There was just so much heat with the Horsemen, and those three were kind of allies against you guys. Fun childhood memories.
It's tough to hear, and I don't, want to knock. The one thing I have never wanted to do on this is knock talent that has passed.
Sure.
So can't defend themselves. But when you have guys that abuse or take advantage of talent that become your friends, you never go back and look at that guy the same.
I got you.
Yeah. I mean, why would somebody screw Magnum TA? Why would somebody screw The Undertaker? It just doesn't make sense, because they're awesome human beings.
There you go. Robin Delaney, who, by the way, I want to put this out there. She said this is her first time joining us. I believe I saw that in the standard chat. Robin, welcome to live Ask Arn Anything. We're so glad to have you here. What were your feelings about wrestling in the Philly Civic Center in the mid '80s? We were a heel town. So Robin from Philly, what were your feelings wrestling in the old Civic Center, Arn?
They loved us. There was nothing we could do to turn them on us, the Horsemen, for sure. Now, they loved Dusty. They loved the Road Warriors and Steiners. Philly just likes tough guys. They just like guys that can fight. And it doesn't matter if you're a good guy or a bad guy. I would suggest, a legitimate baby face come through the curtain. They would boo him out of the building. And people in Philly, man, they it's a great sports town, but they demand excellence out of their sports teams. And we always gave them the blood and guts. If they wanted to see a fight, they got one that night.
Oh yeah.
No matter who.
He was so successful in Philadelphia.
Absolutely. That was the reason ECW had all their successes, because the town they were in. It would be hard to do that in, Dothan, Alabama.
Right.
Birmingham, Alabama. You couldn't set up shop and run every week there like they did and have the turnout that they had.
Yeah, watch Buell and McGillicuddy getting pile driven and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a different time, different era. We have about 6 minutes. So if you're going to get the questions, my advice is super chat. Here comes a super chat from friend of the show. He is Mr. Meatloaf on the Smoker, Yambag Jones. Just a FYI, I'm still working on the Hershey's with almond sponsorship.
Oh,
One of these days, they're going to call me back, I swear. We just need a good slogan. Any suggestions? Take care, boys. Always good to chat. We love you, Yambag. So what do you think? Do we have any good slogans for the Hershey's with almond sponsorship? If they say, we want you, Arn, as our sponsor.
I have never got an explanation about this, but if you think about it, if you're a true Hershey's fan, you'll think about it now because I'm going to bring it up. The difference in the quality of that candy bar with almonds is tenfold to the one without. It just tastes different.
That big difference for
Have you had the two?
Oh, I have. Look at me. I'm yeah.
Compare them sometimes side by side. Have one without it. I don't know. It's a difference in the what the almonds do to set that candy bar off is just, I don't know. It should be the same chocolate, right? Just without almonds, but it's not. It doesn't taste the same to me.
I'm gonna have to check it out. Lil Patty's getting a little frustrated, and I get it because I think I've seen this a few times, and we're gonna get to it. How is Barry Windham doing?
He's doing good. Had a signing with him in New Jersey about 3 weeks ago, and had a few minutes to talk to him. I was talking to him and Barbarian, and Barb actually asked, how you doing, Barry? He said, I'm doing better now. He said, I had a rough go of it. And that's the first time we've had that discussion because I just kept everything positive when I've seen him in the past and hugged his neck and all that. But he just said, I had a pretty good rough go of it. And he said, came off that plane and everything just kind of went upside down, man. He just fell out there in the airport itself. And the guy that worked on him for 10 minutes or whatever it was before they got somebody there,
saved his life.
God bless you, whoever you are out there.
Wow.
We can't thank you enough. You saved one of the good guys in the business. He's beloved and he has meant as much to the wrestling industry as anybody you can name, and you saved him, and we're appreciative more than you'll ever know.
It was so good to see him for the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So the fact he was able to make the appearance, come down the aisle, stand there with Mike Rotundo and just be a part of all that. It's and then, he's still doing shows. Obviously he was out there with you not too long ago.
Yep.
So it's really good to see all that. DJ Dark, man, I listened to every episode and still can't believe I can sit under the Arn Anderson learning tree for free. Thanks for entertaining me for my 46 years.
You're very welcome. And I'm glad that I still got something that people will think about and maybe either believe or reject, but they'll at least think about it. So thank you.
Arn, we are going to go ahead. I don't see any other super chats in. I'll give you one more chance. Anybody wants to get their question in, we will throw that out there now. But I wanted to make sure to let everybody know that we're going to be back together again in 2 weeks. That's right. It's going to be on Tuesday, June 11th. You're welcome, Eddie, and all of you are welcome. Tuesday, June 11th, 6 Eastern. We're going to be talking all things February 1995. Super Brawl in Baltimore, Maryland. Arn, you're in a lumberjack match against Johnny B. Bad. You're going to be in TV tapings in Orlando. You have TV tapings in Atlanta at Center Stage. You're going to battle against longtime friend in one of those shows, Brad Armstrong. And you taking on guys like Alex Wright and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. So I'm looking forward to that. Guys and gals, come back. Join us 6 o'clock on June 11th. We're going to be live. We're going to be taking your questions and covering all things with Arn, February 1995. Buddy, I had a lot of fun, and I can't thank all of you enough for being here with all of us. It's been so great to have you. Bryant Haremza, CG Artis, Lee Marion, Larry Johnson. You're welcome. They're thanking you for all the childhood memories and loving the new live format for the shows. What do you think, Arn? Are you having fun doing this?
I think we have got it narrowed down from when it originally started, and we were just running through WWF matches and stuff that I half-assed remembered and didn't. I think now we have developed a relationship with all you guys that are home. We're one family, and let's just sit around and yuck it up.
Yeah.
These I know these are Paul's favorite shows, the Q&As. Ask it. I may not can answer it if I don't remember it, and some of it may be too sensitive to answer, but for the most part, it's ask me anything, almost.
It is. Arn leaves it in my hands, and I've gotten to know him so well. I know what to ask, how to ask, and what not to ask. And that's the point that we're at. And if it's not asked, just know it's not because any disrespect or whatever the case may be. We love you. We're glad you're here. But there's certain things we're going to make sure we talk about, and some things we're not necessarily going to go there with, and that's okay. There's so much positivity and so many good things going on, and so many fun memories that Arn has, and he wants to share with all of you as we get to sit around the virtual coffee table, if you will, and enjoy this time with Arn. Arn, I can't thank you enough for this. I'm loving it. And Amy Vaughn, I see your comment just popped in. Good times as always. Miss Amy's been with us for this show as well.
She's tremendous. Hello, Amy.
Yeah, so good to have you here. But that's going to wrap us up on behalf of the Hall of Famer Arn Anderson. This is Paul Bromwell, and we'll see you right back here on the Four Horsemen Network live in 2 weeks, Tuesday, June 11th at 6 p.m. Eastern, on another episode of Arn